And shout out to one of the greatest investors in the crypto space, Sam Bankman-Fried. I want to read you an article, and thank you for sending this to me. But please listen. These are his words, not mine. Now, that is all with the assumption that the overall macro environment does not degrade from here. If the NASDAQ has another 25% left to drop, and if interest rates are actually going up to 7%, and if we're going to be in a recession for 2.5 years, in that world, I think Bitcoin might go down to 15K or 10K. Then there may be a new round of carnage that comes from that. This is not me. Go put that shit in your Discord. Might clip this one up. Sam says it's not me. I'm just reporting live. Shout out to Lester Holt. Everybody in Chicago, they used to report. Mark G and Greco, right? Listen, for every investment that you make, 2 questions you have to ask yourself. Am I the sucker in this deal, or am I the one finessing and that's going to end up on the top? And if all else fails, what is the worst price that this asset class can fall to, and where should I buy it? Now, if you're holding, you still have to take in consideration that Bitcoin has provided the greatest returns for any long-term investment over any 2 to 7 year investment cycle. Walks Apple through the park and destroys it. Whoops Google's ass in terms of performance. But as Michael Batnick told us before when he was on the show, the higher the risk in the stock or asset class that you're investing in, the higher the reward, and the inverse is true. So if you want the 60%, 80% in a month gains, you have to take the drawdowns of 40, 50, 60, and 70% when it's happening. In a survey, half the people who took the survey responded. 52% of companies says that they are planning to do hiring freezes over the next year. For those of you that are creators, creatives, brand builders, future empire builders, put your foot on the gas now. I know you heard the story about Groupon, Uber, Facebook, Disney, all these companies being made in a recession. It is out of necessity. And I always tell you guys, it is no one's job, no company's job on earth to provide you financial protection or stability. The purpose of a company is to make money for that company to take care of their family. That's it. That's what commerce always is. That's what American capitalism will always be. And they'll put a cute veneer on it and tell you it's something else, but it's not. It's not. Now let's get to some trading tips. Number 1, I want you to print out your chart every single day. I want you to mark off your entry and exit. And then I want you to mark off where you should have gotten in and where you should have exited, and see, do they match? What you want to have happen is over a 3-month period, where you should have gotten in and where you should have exited begin to match up. And I'm going to tell those of you who have been on a journey of overtrading, now has to be the time that you stop, because now is the time that your family needs you. If you have people that have been supporting you and believing in your vision, it is now time that they see some fruits of the sacrifices that you've made and they've made in supporting you. And I know it's hard to stop overtrading. Bigger target, risk $1 to make 25. What is the percentage on that? If you risk $1 and make 25, what percentage of trades do you need to win in order to be profitable? The number 1 thing you can do to fix your trading errors, number 1 is walk away, which no one does. And I can't wait to get together with Dream Team and the Rebellion to put y'all in the house and kick y'all out the house after y'all take y'all trades to make you walk away. But number 2, put in the target so big that if you hit it, this is game, set, match. Number 2, the market trends 20 to 40% of the time. After that, the market is choppy. Number 3, expect bigger and easier returns when quantitative easing is in place, and when quantitative easing goes away, expect for the market to be rougher and have lower gains. Now, because the Fed said, I'm no longer just giving away free money. See, for the last 14 years after Obama came in, like the Fed was the simp, right? So he bought the flowers and he sent $2,000 in cash out before he got the date, right? He was sending a little lingerie and texting a good morning and a good night and wasn't getting no play. The Federal Reserve now is like, nah, I need to get a return on my investment. Quit being a simp. Start listening to Fresh and Fit or Andrew Tate or whoever, right? And said, listen, I'm only going to print money if it's in our best interest. I'm not going to buy bonds just because. So now when the market is tougher, you have to hunt a little bit deeper to get good gains out of the market. And the great part is it may suck to go through it, but when the market finally stabilizes, it's going to be like taking candy from a baby. That's why I mentioned to you guys August 24, 2015, when the Dow was sliding apart, NASDAQ was falling apart, the Russell was falling apart, fell 1,000 points at the open, got in the swing trade, held it for 2 weeks. And I was like, man, I got it. When the entire world was panicking, all the practice that I did led to that point where I can pick my move. Now looking at it, I should have short from the London through the American open, then executed my swing trade, and then in other accounts shorted for 400 or 500 points every 3 or 4 days in the interim. Please write that plan down, because as the market falls apart, you should make 3 to 6 times the amount of money you would normally if it was to the upside. You need a target for a choppy market. So what are you going to say? I can't make money, I can't produce, I can't pay bills because the market is choppy. You still got to produce. Write down what your target is going to be for crypto, for Forex, for futures, for stocks. When we're in a choppy market, what are you going to do? What is your target going to be? And yes, it must be one target for every market that you trade. If you change your targets every other day, it's going to cause a lot more anxiety. If you stick to the same ones, it becomes a hell of a lot easier. You need a target for a bull market, which I can't wait till that fully returns. For those of you who are asking like, hey, what do I do with my portfolio? Continue to put money into it, but don't look at it. You open up the portfolio on a Monday or Tuesday and the market slide down, it'll make you want to just cash out everything. You can't. You still have to invest for the long term, and you need a target for a bearish market. If you were there at InvestFest, I gave you those targets. Next, the weaker your discipline, and I touched on this earlier, the bigger your risk to reward needs to be. Most people are not disciplined in trading, but the great part is, because this is a mathematical game, you do not have to be the most disciplined to win. You need the biggest target in order to win. It's better to undertrade and win than overtrade and lose. Overtraders are notorious for overtrading because they don't really want the money that comes from trading. They want the excitement that comes from pushing a button and having access to a certain amount of capital. And it's a lot of inner work that you have to do and rearranging your beliefs in yourself, and then change your financial thermostat to believe that you're worthy of more. A lot of you can trade your ass off. Your analysis is great, but when it's time to hit the button, when that fear sets in and your heart is beating 100 miles a second, it's because you know deep down you're not going to do what you should at the right moment. This is a sport. I'm telling you now, I want today be the last day that you guys overtrade. And truth be told, because a lot of these funds are having trouble, a lot of these technology companies are having trouble. Shout out to the snipers. Like, you don't think right now with Netflix falling from 700 to 200 and some change, they couldn't use us trading in their company to float up the revenue? Trust me. Shout out to Meta. I'll be there September 1st. Yeah, let's get to the talking. That y'all are going to see me manifest what I talked about. Shout out to the squad. You're going to see me right now. Shout out to Boosie. Unlock my guy account and my IG live too. Right? But right now, there may be 100 companies that are publicly traded that have no issue with cash flow or revenue. Imagine how much of an impact you can have if you just stick to your system, and how many people in your family, in your community, and your business community in the world you can help. The choice is yours. Business owners, brands, and creators, please set $5,000 to $10,000 a month for long-term investing. If you invest $10,000 a month for a 21-year cycle, you'll walk away with $11.3 million if you get a 12% return. And let's be honest, for most business owners, you can snatch 12% return out of your company alone. For those of you in real estate who are in business, please don't let people tell you that you don't know investing. If you know branding, if you know how to build a company, you know what companies are great and you know which ones are terrible and which ones are going to fall apart. People love to tell you that you don't know so they can monetize off of your perceived ignorance. But if you're out here building and you have a big fan base and you already know what the top electronic vehicle company is or the top fashion line is currently, you already know how to invest in the market and you'll be good.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.